And then look. Oh, I couldn't afford it. Ridge. Yeah, but they call it a Vinci bit. Yeah. Is that wet there? Oh yeah, it's a little bit of water. Oh wow.
Yeah, they used to, it's interesting because they left on
It's to the right, I think, there's that. Right on this way.
This is more like it.
sleeping there. So, it was quite an up and down journey.
Stop it, sorry.
Oh, I'm going to sit down here. Sorry? You come back the same way, yeah. Because they're blocked up at this one side.
When they were originally built.
I know there's another puddle by the construction shaft. So. Right, I need you to stop somewhere along here. Can you find the whole construction shaft? There, that's where I need you to stop. Right, there's a small puddle there and then a huge one here. And I need to be the other side of it. Yeah. Right, come through if you can. And have a look in there, whoopsie, and then just come past me, which is useless, isn't it? No, it's not going to work, that's what I'm. Right, if you'd like to come past us a bit, we'll talk about this. As well as navigating major floods, I'm going to ask you to be multitasking in a minute. Really unfair, isn't it? Right, come and stand in here if there's not quite enough room, because I'm going to get somebody in there in a minute. Right, how are we doing? Is there another torch at the back here? Right, I think that's most of you. Most of you on dry land, aren't you? Now, behind these people here, could you sort of stand to one side? This is a construction shaft. And some of you would like to see in it, I dare say, and I will also be talking. This is the multitasking. So if this lady here would like to stand right in the middle of the, mind the puddle at the entrance, go right into the middle of the duck boarding. That's it. Now hold on to your helmet and don't bother with your torch and look up as far as you can. Don't bother with the torch.
Bucket of water comes down there.
Well, you might not. Could you? Are you getting wet? If you're not getting wet, it's stopped raining. If it's raining, you get a shower there. What the lady saw was the underneath of a manhole cover. It looks like two lights, doesn't it? Or two eyes.
Oh, right, okay, so it isn't lights, that's daylight.
It's not light, it's actually daylight. It's the holes in the manhole cover where you pick it up. We're about 35 feet below ground. And now, if you like, as you come out, do be careful. Anybody who wants to, would start from this side if you want to go in. If you can manage to photograph. And most important of all, you've got to meet up with your mates who are coming in the opposite direction. Now, for heaven's sake, this is 1939. They didn't have any laser guidance. Crossrail had it easy. Just set it all up and press a button. But these were miners. Miners have some sort of sixth sense, a bump that tells them where they need to be going. And with the help of candle wires, of candles and piano wires, and their own instincts and some compasses, they got the whole lot cut out in 6 months. They dug out between 60 and 65,000 tons.
That's cool, isn't it?
It all had to go back up the shaft, be put up on the road,
Imagine
and
falling
taken
down
to
that.
Western Undercliff. 6 months to do the digging. It was just incredible. Now, you will have noticed when you've had your turn in there that the top part of the shaft is concreted like a chimney. Plan B for Brimwell for ventilation. If the natural ventilation didn't work, he would put a cowling on the top of the chimney. It was never needed. It worked so well. There's a puddle just behind you, so you should get that. It worked so well that he didn't need any extra ventilation. Now, all of this, Brimwell has a backup for everything. We are now at about 35 feet. As we get higher, he's not sure whether 30 feet of chalk is sufficient to protect against a direct hit of a bomb. There is a road there as well to help, but what if 30 feet isn't enough? So when we get to the next section, you will see that it is concrete lined. Everything that's near the surface has been concrete lined with reinforced concrete. Now the way they did it along there, they pumped it in behind screening, shuttering. A very common way, isn't it, of doing it today? But in those days, it was very innovative. It was a new way of doing things. Imagine doing that in the semi-dark. Right, is there anybody else who wants to go in? The concrete surfaces, wherever we come across them in the tunnels, provide a perfect blackboard for the urban explorers. The youth of Ramsgate, up to about 20 years ago, never met on the street corners. They used to meet in the tunnels. They all knew a way to get in. And they'd come in and they'd enjoy themselves down here. So the concrete surfaces are a perfect blackboard for them to sign their names on. You will see a lot of careful, there's a puddle there as well. A lot of impossible signs. Charles Dickens actually never came down here, and the tunnels weren't open in 18-something. I don't think Norman Bates came down here either. But you will see a lot of names, and people, I don't know if any of you are local, people often recognise their own names as well down here. Are we ready to move on? Has everybody who wants to go in? Good. Right, let's go on. And you'll see this concrete section.
Difficult to look up with.
This was more like the Sedgwick Tunnel.
This is more like what?
The Sedgwick Tunnel.
Oh, is it?
Just a bit of torch for the front of the boat, and then that's it. And that was like that for 2 hours, 2.5 hours. Well, I hope so. And a bit more water. This was, look at that. Oh yes, there is a little bit of graffiti. But it's only 1984 there, isn't it? I'm still expecting to feel concrete on the bottom, but it's not. 1982. That's 35 years old. Doesn't wear, does it, Sean? I thought it would. If it's got wind, then it... 71. Is that right? Oh, it's good to have got that. 63 there. Oh. Oh, yeah. There's and tunnels in Dover. This goes on forever, doesn't it?
I've never seen this one.
400 yards to 1977. John was here.
You get certificates for swimming underground. Are we all right? Yes. Right. If you let me come back past you.
Moseley. You see Dad's name down here.
Oh yeah.
What the bloody hell's he doing in here?
Like this.
I think so. He won't bother about it, don't he? But Dad would have liked this.
Yeah, it was the ex-military one.
Moshi never came down here, did he, at all? No, I mean, at all. So, you don't think how long goes on for, isn't it? Norman Bates, huh? That's what it says there.
Well, it could be something called Norman Bates. I don't know why.
What you see here is another construction shaft, but it's in a very long access way. It's exactly like the one we saw. The reason it's quite interesting is that it's behind the Elephant and Castle pub in Hearson Road, on the corner of Boundary Road or St Luke's playing field. Quite nice and secluded. We wonder if the miners knew what they were doing when they put an entrance near the pub. But after the war, this was a favourite place for the kids to come in. All they had to do was lift up the manhole cover, come 30 feet down a rope. Well, we could all have done that, couldn't we, when we were young? 30 feet down ropes and easy. So they'd come down and they'd bring cider, beer, cigarettes, sandwiches, whatever. They might even have bought a wind-up gramophone record for all we know, and they'd come down here and they'd have a lovely couple of hours. Then they'd have to go back up a 30 feet road, having drunk their cider or their beer or whatever. Some of them just flew up the road, no trouble at all. Others couldn't make it, and the fire brigade had to be called. And the fire brigade got fed up with this and were not pleased and asked the council to seal that entrance more securely. That leads us to a slight puzzle, because the shaft itself is clear. There is nothing blocking the shaft. So the chalk wasn't left there to block the shaft. We think it's more likely the chalk was abandoned when they realised they didn't need the shaft as a ventilation shaft. But in the abandoning of the chalk, they buried two sets of these rails. This is Jubilee track, the sort of railway line that was used in World War II. You pick up the back one and you stick it on the front and you can move things up. And if we ever get the other one out from underneath that chalk, we can set it up here as a display for you. Now we're very nearly as far as we can go, and you'll see why we can't go further along the main tunnel, but we will go towards one of the entrances. So if you'd like to carry on following.
Look at that.
I don't know where it is. Yeah. Oh, well, it's in Ramsgate. Bird.
That would have been Richard's era, wouldn't it? 60s, didn't know they'd come down here. This would all have been open then, wouldn't it? That's like what that was back there. I wouldn't have done that. Not even.
Now, as you can see, the tunnel is completely blocked. In the 1950s, the water main built, eventually bringing down the main road, which is above us. It's Boundary Road. Busy main road, and as soon as the council realised what was happening, they wanted that road back in operation as quickly as possible. So they abandoned all the spoil that had fallen in. They never occurred to them who'd be interested, and filled up made the road whole and left us with a blockage. The other interesting thing here is that reinforced concrete pillar. Behind it is a huge galvanised water tank. Every entrance had a water tank for use, general use and emergencies. You can imagine the miners dug out a lovely big alcove, put in their water tank, stood back to admire the work that they'd done, and heard the traffic rumbling overhead, and thought, oh heck, we're only 30 feet down, we've cut that hole a bit too big. So they put in the early reinforced pillar in the whole of the system to make sure the road didn't collapse again, the tunnel didn't collapse into the tunnel. Now, we're at the shallowest entrance, and because we're so near the surface, the first part of it is just a slope. So,
Yeah, up there, mate. Mosley. Mosley. Yeah, look. Hold on. But it does go back round. They could dig that out, couldn't they? And then there's Mose. 1968. Might be her. Couldn't it? Well, she might be a bit old, young for that, wouldn't she? It might have been Julie. But then out of Julie's the next no. Pat's. Oh, what's that, Mosley? Oh, I thought it was. I never went up this one before. Look, that's some. They'd be terrified. How are you going to get out? No, I love it. Yeah. I've done both entrances. I've done this entrance.
Now you can see we have a short flight of stairs. To the side there's another short flight relative service. Directly ahead, most of you can probably see a ladder, and that leads to our emergency exit. If you ever do the overground, underground walk, that's the way you come into the tunnels. If you went up that ladder, this is quite interesting, quite ironic really. People in the tunnels were scared of a German invasion. That's one of the reasons they sheltered in the tunnels. They were afraid the Germans were coming. If I lifted the hatch and you looked out, across the road you'd see Aldi. Now this wall here is a constructional wall, and across it you see on the beam there are some hooks, and there was a sort of rubber blind that was chemically impregnated to stop gas coming in if a gas bomb had dropped. They never used them in the end. People all had to carry their gas masks, but mustard gas on your skin would actually burn. So that was one defence. There was also a blast door there. The second brick wall was put in by the council probably in the 80s when things were starting to get PC, and they were trying to keep the kids out. Not much point here because the kids nearly all come in the other side, or the one that we saw. So you can imagine the kids wandering around, get to this wall, brand new wall, think, oh, I wonder what's the other side. And they punched a sort of porthole-shaped hole in it, looked through, lost interest and went back. But that porthole-shaped hole was very important because it maintained the airflow in the tunnel and kept the tunnel in good condition. The reason it's such a big hole now is that every so often we have to go through it because that's the emergency exit. Now I would like you to come, do go up there as far as I looked if you want a better look, if you haven't seen enough. You can go just as far as that wall, but then come back round this corner.
I know where Audi is. You know where the Audi is?
Yeah,
That's that building. That must be that place. David Adams.
Dave Adams.
No, I don't think they were bed on it.
None of this exists with him.
We went up there last week. There's that hole you can get out of the top. See this bit's all been caved
Yeah.
over.
Pushed through.
Mm.